places, and nothing was a surprise to him in that game. He knew exactly what was going on. What was that? Sorry, our producer is trying to tell us. Oh, okay, no problem. Hey, so thanks you guys for tuning in. Remember, please check out our sponsors, Maxed Out Studios. They do a lot of the graphics for this, and they're looking to get into the StarCraft 2 scene and do more graphics. Elveron, game Elveron, everyone should go check it out. It's a text-based MMO, kind of RTS kind of thing, and they're actually going to give $50 to the MVP of the ISTL Season 2. And please check out Impulse Esports, guys. If you follow them on Twitter and like them on Facebook. Oh, I always get those mixed up for some reason. Remember, at the end, during the finals, they're going to give out an hour of free coaching to one person from both of those lists. You have to be there, but that's an awesome deal, man. A lot of awesome players on Impulse.
Indeed, and we're going to be taking a quick commercial break, so we'll be back very shortly. Again, thank you for tuning in. I am Stasis TV, and with me is...
Buddha! Yeah!
Yes! Awesome. We'll be back very shortly. Thank you again for tuning in. See you soon.
To hold us off. The Nexus is probably going to be going down that one Colossi, and there's some ridiculously lagging. GG!
Colossi are probably going to go down.
Yeah, he doesn't even have Blink yet.
Hey, what's up? We are back with the ISTL with Impulse Esports and all the wonderful things that is the Indie StarCraft Team League. I am Stasis TV, and with me is...
Buddha.
Yes,
Buddha.
I always forget that name. Buddha is awesome. Love that name, man. But we're going to be going into game number 2 between MYI and NRG. This is going to be on GSL Tal'Darim Altar Official by Mile Coca himself. It's going to be a 1v1, obviously, and it looks like the game is going to be starting soon. But first off, last game, TVP, that was intense on Cloud Kingdom. I'm really excited to see what game is coming up next.
Yeah, and I want to see who they're going to send out against Fiery, man. He did like a risky build and then held the pressure. It really wasn't even close. Like, I was like, oh, how is he going to hold it? How is he going to... Oh, he made that look easy. And it was a little bit ridiculous, but if you guys want to check out both of these teams, they are both up-and-coming StarCraft 2 teams. Again, a lot of Grandmasters on both sides of this stage. Please go follow them on Twitter at TeamNRGSC2 and at TeamMYI. And, sorry, I'll post those in the chat so that people don't have to memorize them and write them down. But, yeah, do we know who the player is for NRG coming up here?
I think it's going to be NRG Youngsung? Is it Youngsung? Wait, Jaesung? Youngsung? Something along those lines. I don't exactly know what race he is. You should always see him pending in the game lobby, so we shall see you here very shortly. But it's going to be intense nonetheless.
Oh, absolutely. Tal'Darim Altar. Okay, so this is... Let's talk about this particular map a little bit, I guess. This is the GSL version of Tal'Darim Altar, which means it doesn't have the rocks at the third, and there's only 6 mineral patches and 1 gas. So this is not the map players are used to playing on, you know, and they're going to have to tailor their styles a little bit to really decide what to do. I mean, 1 less gas, not that big of a deal, but kind of a big deal. I mean, it affects when you want to take your third, what kind of tech you can get off of your third, how many tech switches you can do. People might ninja a base somewhere to try to get that extra gas. There's a lot of stuff that could go on differently here.
Honestly, it favors Zerg because they can just take a fast 3 base here and not be in trouble. I'm just going to say it. Like, we all know that. It favors Zerg because they can take a fast 3 base and not worry about it because of the top of the ramp. But it looks like Jaesung is Zerg. And you know what? I mean, like you said, though, like, if the rocks are still there, Terrans have the option to either get an orbital command in their main base and then float it over, and then either make it into planetary or just have an orbital command there in the first place. So there's a delayed planetary, and then Protoss, they just have to like pile it up like crazy, which takes forever. Zergs can just grab a third base and creep it up and be good. But I mean, it really depends on how fast you want to take the third base. We do see that this is going to be a Zerg versus Protoss. Zerg with the new changes recently, as I would note, more or less focus on either Queen openings because the Queen buff, a lot of Zergling openings, well, unless the opponent gets a lot of Zealots. But it really is going to depend on what Protoss decides to do. Like, if he decides to stay on 2 base or even a fast 3 base style. Like, Protoss could easily take a third base here just because of the top of the ramp. Like, he could just put a couple pylons, put a couple gateways, be totally good to go. But, I really have no idea what Fiery's style is at this point. I've always seen 1 game of him, and I'm really curious to see what he does decide to do.
Yeah, you know, to speak to that the Queen change, I really like the idea that Blizzard was kind of heading that direction. Trying to generate some way to not affect the game too much, but really do a good job of, you know, helping to stop all-ins that were coming over and over again from the other 2 races. But I think it was too much. Like, now 1 Queen completely denies probes from scouting the main at all. You never know how much gas your opponent has until you get that observer out. So we see a lot of players going for that Forge Fast Expand into directly Robo so they can scout with an observer. But even so, like, you're... it forces you into something, and you don't have as many options, and I kind of feel like it has negatively affected the game so far, at least. We'll see if things change.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, looking at it like at a larger standpoint, like, it could have good effects, and it could be having good effects, but I really honestly have no idea at this point. Like, Zerg could have been underpowered all this time, and we just haven't really realized it. But
we just never knew. All right, well, spawning at the bottom left-hand side of GSL's Tal'Darim Altar, we do have MYI, My Intense Fiery, the Red Protoss, winner of the last game.
Indeed, and spawning in the northwest position, we have, spawning as the Blue Zerg, the one and only NRG Jason, making drones. Yeah.
Yeah. And like you said, man, when you heard the map, you were like, oh, this is Zerg favored, and here's a Zerg picking GSL Tal'Darim Altar. So, we'll see how he decides to open up. Maybe he has a lot of practice on this map, man. These guys play in a lot of Clan Wars, and a lot of Clan Wars do use the GSL version of this map, as opposed to the latter version, but it looks like Fiery has scouted his opponent first, and Jaesung's not going to be all that happy about that. We do see 15 hatches on this map every once in a while, and this is one of the few ones we'll see in Zerg versus Protoss, a 15 hatch.
Ooh, actually, we did see a 14 pool go down. Very, very standard stuff. Going to be getting the hatch at 16 or so. But one thing I do want to note, looking at these positions, Zerg's going to have a hard time taking his fourth base. Like, he can't take the one to the west-hand position because Protoss can have pylons at the high ground. So he's going to be forced to expand to the east side. So he's going to grab his natural and probably grab his normal third base. But his fourth base is going to be all the way around behind that watchtower to the north position. And then his fifth base is going to be far to the northeast position. I think this is going to, because that's going to require either a lot of good creep spread or mutas. So it's going to force him to either be extremely strewn out between those bases, while Protoss can just sit here, grab his third, grab his fourth base, and just guard that one central area where that main watchtower is near his base.
Yeah, and something I was talking about with Vindicare yesterday is the positions on this map, definitely incredibly important, but this map in particular, in my opinion, tends to favor Mutal Ling a little more than that mass roach play because of the distance and because of how spread out it is.
I would agree with that. For the sole fact that mutas they can, like, I don't know if you guys are following my camera. Marine, could you follow my camera here for a second, buddy? Like, going to my camera, like, you see, mutas can hit this natural base of Protoss. Like, they can come in, they can fly in, they can attack the probes here. Then they can fly all the way around. They can hit units right here. Then they can fly all the way back and hit the main base itself. Like, and they have this huge space in between the third base and then the main base. Like, they can just bounce around to all these bases, cause the Protoss to get either throw cannons down, which costs money, obviously, and force the Protoss to be freaking out and staying in his base the entire time. So mass muta is not necessarily a bad option here, honestly.
Yeah, and actually we have a really peculiar opening out of Fiery here. He opened double gateway into core, no forge in sight, and he did, of course, scout that there was no gas from Jaesung, but Jaesung, seeing this double gateway play, has added a gas, knowing that he may very well need roaches quickly, and he might need Zergling speed or something to try to punish this, since there is going to be no cannon. 2 stalkers after that first zealot,
cool.
though. Interesting.
That's really cool. This is going to let him get like 3 or 4 more gateways after this natural kicks in. He's just going to do a 5-gate push, 5 or 6-gate push, all in. That's what he's going to do. I'm calling it right now. For the sole fact that he's not... probably about 9 minutes, 8 minutes. The sole fact that he's not getting that forge makes his cyber core extremely early. Like, look how fast he has his warp gate. Like, Zerg can't do anything. Zerg's not even grabbing a third base at this point. So this is, like, really bad for Zerg. He can't take a third base because it's going to take too long to establish. He can't get creep over there. Plus, look at all this aggression early off. Fiery has 2 stalkers out this early. Like, what is Zerg really going to do at this point? He doesn't have a spine crawler up, and he's forced to make a ton of Zerglings. And, like, look at the production. He's not even making Zerglings. So, like, he's in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, I think he was actually depending on there just being a lot of zealots coming out and that he could kite it with queens, but these 2 stalkers actually doing an exorbitant amount of damage at the beginning here. That zealot with such good positioning, he's killing off a ton of drones. He's going to lose his second queen here. 12 Zerglings now on the way. Zergling speed almost complete. He is going to deny this aggression, but not before taking a ton of damage.
Yes, he did lose a couple of probes, and the Bling's going to get us around. It could be ever so close, and it looks like another Stalker is going to move its way up, but that one Stalker is probably going to die. Yes, those 2 Stalkers do go down. That was a bad trade for Protoss, but he did put on that crucial early aggression, but all the while, he's getting up that third gas, going to be finishing up Warp Gate very soon, and you know what, I'm surprised we don't see like 3 or 4 more gateways going down. He has 600 minerals. I think he either is delaying it for some reason, or just forgetting to throw them down.
Yeah, this is really weird. He actually only has 1 Stalker, but Warp Gate is completed here. The Zergling's trying to bust past.
This could be intense. He's trying to warp in some sentries to block off those Zerglings, and yes, he does get that 1 force field off. And it looks like there's a little bit of a choke. Nah, not to the east of that gateway. There should be only... this map is